Hello everyone, I'm Terry Hartley with Rustic Barn Cards, and today I'm going to make a gatefold card. I'm going to be using the designer paper from our 2020-2021 annual catalog. This paper is called Flowers for Every Season, and this is the sheet of designer paper that I'm going to use for our card. The Pampered Pets stamp set, I'm only going to use one stamp from this, and that is the butterfly. And then the stamp set Prize Peony, I've chosen the Sentiment, Love, and Thanks to a Dear Friend. Actually, if you don't have either one of those stamp sets, you could use whatever you have to make this card. In our 2020-2021 annual catalog for Stampin' Up, on page 42, you'll see the Pampered Pets stamp set. And on page 84 is the Prize Peony stamp set. And then on page 148, you'll see all the designer paper. And what I'm using today, as I mentioned, is the Flowers for Every Season. It's 6 by 6 inches, and there are 48 sheets, 4 of each, of 12 double-sided designs. So let's bring in the card so I can show you what we're going to make today. We're going to make this gatefold card. It says Happy Birthday, and open it up, and there's a cinnamon in the inside too. But I'm actually going to change the card. I'm going to make it the same, except I'm going to change, instead of Happy Birthday, I'm going to put a different sentiment on the front. Okay, I'm going to lay that right here and bring in the materials that we need. We need a piece of Just Jade, and I took a 8.5 by 11, and I cut it at 5.5. And then I scored, I put it in the trimmer, and I scored this at 2 1/8 from the left side. And then I turned it around, and I trimmed it again on the opposite side at 2 1/8. Then I have a couple of pieces of scrap Whisper White cardstock, one to stamp the butterflies and one to stamp our sentiment. Another piece of Whisper White cardstock. This is for inside our card, and it is 4 inches across by 5 1/4 for the length. And then I just have a scrap of Just Jade that I'm going to die cut to put behind our sentiment. And then I cut our designer paper, and it's about 2 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches long, and I will have all the measurements at the end, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, let's do our stamping first. So I'm going to open up our Just Jade ink, and I'm going to bring in the piece of scrap paper, and I have the sentiment, Love and Thanks to a Dear Friend. So I'm going to tap that on the pad. I always like to look just to make sure that I have it inked up. And then I'm going to press down and straight up. Great. You never know. Sometimes I have to do it more than once because I don't have it lined up correctly. Okay, I'm going to lay that aside and bring in our Bumblebee ink. So 2 inks today, Bumblebee and Just Jade. I'm going to bring in the butterfly stamp and the scrap of paper that I have that I'm going to put the butterfly on. So I'm going to ink that up. Straight down, straight up. It doesn't matter. I do have a little extra ink there, but this is going to be cut out. But I am going to bring in the Whisper White cardstock for the inside of a card, and I'm going to put a butterfly at the bottom. Okay, and I did that correctly, so that is good. And that is all of the ink that we need for this card. Okay. So here's our sentiment. I'm going to bring in a die from the Rectangle Dies. And I'm going to put that right, and try to kind of line that up. I like to take these little Post-it stickers. They hold this down. I'm going to put this on the platform. Then I'm going to run that through the die cutting machine. And this is what we have. Love and thanks to a dear friend. And now I'm going to go ahead and die cut using Just Jade, and this will be kind of to matte the sentiment. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to, and make sure, if you're new to stamping, because I know when I started I was always confused which way the die went. Okay, so you see we want this to be on, we want this to be cut into our paper, so this flat side is going to be up facing you. And then I'm going to bring in my little Post-it notes. And put this on my die platform. And I need to realign that, press that down a little bit. Make the sandwich. And I would run that through. I have already done that, just to save some time. So this is going to go on top of there. Okay, but before I do that, I'm going to bring in the butterflies that I stamped. And I have a Stampin' Blend, and this is Daffodil Delight, and it's the light. And I am going to just real lightly fill in the butterfly. I stamped it with Bumblebee, and that's a little darker than the Daffodil Delight. And I want it that way so it kind of gives a contrast. And then I'm going to do the same with the butterfly that I stamped on the Whisper White cardstock that's going to go inside our card today. Okay. So I am going to fussy cut. I'm going to cut the butterfly out. That's what we call fussy cut. Guess I need to be able to talk. So you just take your snips or your scissors and you cut around, leaving a little bit of white edge. To save time, I already have this done, finished. So that is what it looks like. So we'll lay that aside. Hopefully we don't lose those. And we're going to bring in our card and put it together. All right. So again, we have our card base, or Just Jade. And we are going to fold on the score lines. I'm going to bring in my bone folder. And I'm going to do it a couple times. So I want a crisp edge, and I also want it to lay down, to lay flat. And I am going to go ahead and turn this over and add some adhesive. I'm going to use the green glue to put inside our card. I've decided on this one not to put a greeting on the inside, but you could. And then I want to get it even, and you want to make sure you get the butterflies at the bottom where you want it at, where you want them. Press that down. Great. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put our designer paper on the outside, and I'm going to go ahead and use a snail glue. I am still kind of learning how to use the new Stampin' Seal, so once I get that to work for me, I will be using that. And we'll just kind of line this up right here. And then we'll do the same. This isn't too forgiving, so you need to kind of make sure you get it lined up before you press down on this. Okay, great. Now I'm going to bring in the Just Jade Matte and our sentiment, love and thanks to a dear friend. And kind of hold that. Make sure I get it in the center, lined up on each side. Okay, great. So now I'm going to attach this to our card. But I want to put the glue just on the left side so our card will open. So I'm going to get it kind of lined up. And you could put it at the bottom, in the middle. You know, you could decide wherever you wanted to put your sentiment. I'm going to try to do kind of in the middle. So I think it looks like about right on that little and symbol back. So I'm going to put glue on right over here on this side. Okay, so I'm going to kind of hold my finger there and turn it over. And I'm just going to double check. Okay. And I like using the green glue because when you lay it on there, it will squish down some. And I think that it will adhere a little better than the snail. Okay. And I'm going to kind of turn it up. And there's no glue there. That's good. And I'm just going to hold it just a little bit. And you notice on this card, I have the little butterflies at the bottom, and they hold, kind of like they hold the gate closed. And that is what we're going to do with our butterflies. I'm going to bring them in, and I'm going to take my bone folder, and at the top of the butterfly, I'm going to just kind of curl it up, and at the bottom, so make them just a little bit, so they're not just flat, to give it a little dimension. And then I'm going to put a glue dot on the bottom of the butterfly. So I want the glue dot to be on the bottom of the butterfly, so the top is open, so it will catch the opening to our sentiment. Okay, sorry, I had to kind of get off camera so I could see. Okay. So I want this sticky part to be, and I feel like I don't have it. I guess I do. Let's see, I felt like I didn't have it right where I wanted it. Okay, and then I'm going to bring in the other one. Get that glue dot. And I might have put that just a little bit too low. So we are going to put that butterfly right there. Okay, good. So it's holding it. And then you kind of just flip up, and then you can flip down. Okay, I'm going to bring in a ribbon. I took about actually about 6 inches of the bumblebee ribbon. I find, though, that if I make the bow while it's still connected to the roll, that it seems to be easier, and I don't waste as much time. Okay, I'm going to take the ribbon, or excuse me, I'm going to take the bow. I've already made it into ribbon. I'm going to attach my bow in the upper left-hand corner. I'm not sure I got those. I may have to readjust those a little bit. And then I'm going to bring in some glue dots and the end colors. And I'm going to, I mean, I could actually, we could do Magenta Madness. We could do just Jade. We could do Bumblebee. So you have lots of choices on this card. Put one right there. I think the top of that, maybe there we go. Move that aside. Okay, here is our card. Here is the card I showed you at the beginning, the happy birthday, but I wanted to change it. And I have love and thanks to a dear friend. Raise up the gate, and you can write your message on the inside. So again, I will have all the dimensions for you. And it's time to talk about giveaways. If you would like to have a chance to be in the drawing for a giveaway, all you need to do is to like, follow, and leave a comment. So like this video and leave a comment, and you'll be in the running for Mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And today is Thursday, June 25th, and next Thursday, July 2nd, when I make my next video, I will draw to see who has won. So the drawing, you can be in the drawing if you like and leave a comment. If you place an order, I will put your name in a drawing for a Stampin' Seal. And don't forget, if you place an order, to use the host code, and I will have this at the end of the video again for you. Go to TerryHartleyStampinup.net and use the host code. If you do not have an independent demonstrator, reach out to me, and I would be glad to send you our 2020-2021 annual catalog. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and have a great day.